Hi, I'm E.D. Lewis, and welcome back to my channel, E.D. Lewis Reviews. Let me just take these off, actually. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button down below and the little bell so you'll get notifications on my latest videos. And please leave a comment down below. Well, it's June, which means it's LGBTQ Pride Month. That's a lot to say right there. So I have a few Pride Month videos planned for this year, and this is one of them. So let's get started with our first Pride Month review for the year, and it is a Whyborne and Griffin book, which this will be my third Whyborne and Griffin review. I'll put the two previous ones in the description down below, so do check those out. So this is Book 2, Threshold, by Jordan L. Hawk. It was published in 2013, and it is a gothic romance, gothic horror, cosmic horror, Lovecraftian horror, you know, all those things, very much. So it picks up not that long after the ending of, well, really, of Eidolon, which was the short story that happens after the first one. The Eidolon was published after Threshold, though, but it precedes it chronologically. So let's just take it from there. While attempting to live an ordinary life with his lover, Griffin Flaherty, in Widdershins, Percival Whyborne's wealthy father summons them to ask for Griffin's services as a private detective. They are to travel to Threshold Mountain to investigate the strange accidents and disappearances happening there. The pair travel with their friend, Dr. Christine Putnam, which I was very glad to see Christine back, and in a pretty prominent role in it too, to the site, and discover that a Pinkerton detective from Griffin's past is part of the investigation, making things much more difficult. So, anyway, that was my little synopsis. This one picks up not that long, like I said, after the events of the first book, and also not long after Eidolon. Like I said, they are to travel to Threshold Mountain to check out this mining site where these strange accidents have happened, and deaths, characters dying and seeing things in the mine that are unexplainable by rational means. So when they get there, they do end up running into the character of Elliot, and this man is not just, a fellow detective that Griffin worked with, he was a little bit more, and so that adds more tension to the story, which I thought was great, because I wondered what kind of tension they'd come up with. With the story of Eidolon, there wasn't much tension there, and this, I think, really helped it. Because, there's that trope in romance stories where there's got to be something that comes between the romantic couple, some event or some person or something, and then it gets resolved, which I hope that's not any kind of a spoiler. That was definitely here, and I think Elliot was very much, Elliot clearly was that, and it was perfect. What this story made me think of, and it gets really cringy when it really gets into it. I don't remember what they called the creatures in it off the top of my head, because I read this a while back. It was like January or February when I read this. It reminded me a little bit of The Thing in some ways, and the Lovecraft novella At the Mountains of Madness, because it had kind of that similar quality, especially with the creatures involved, but it also and what the whole what's actually going on. But it also reminded me a little bit, and I haven't read the story for it, but I've seen the movie from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, and it's called The Whisper. Is it The Whisper in Darkness? I think that's what it's called. About these creatures that attack in the night and stuff. And so it reminded me of both those Lovecraft stories, and I think those were probably huge inspirations for this. And if you recall from my previous Whyborne and Griffin reviews, very much this takes place in the same universe, I think, as Lovecraft stories, because you get the Necronomicon talked about, and you get Arkham, I'm pretty sure, was mentioned in the first book, and Miskatonic University, of course, I think is where Percival actually went to. So, yeah, it's very much in Lovecraft's world, so it's just kind of building on from the Cthulhu mythos. And I already mentioned the heightened tension. Oh yes, there was this scene with prostitutes, because very much they've gone to like this frontier town. It's out west. It's this colony that's been set up for the mining, and it is just, and they have like saloons and stuff. So think of something out west in the late 1800s. And there's the scene with prostitutes in the saloon, and Whyborne is just basically called over. I think they're trying to seduce him and get him to buy them drinks, and then perform their services. But they quickly kind of make friends with him, and he starts interrogating them. Not in a bad way. And they start he really he shows them that he's not a threat or anything, and they just quickly warm up to him really fast, and they start volunteering all this information. I thought it was such a funny scene, and it was a great one too, because he was really uncomfortable at the start of it, knowing how the character is. Very much, I think my partner and I might be very much like Whyborne and Griffin, and I'm very much the Whyborne character in many ways. It started out very awkward, and he was very uncomfortable. Then he just basically owned that scene very well, especially when he was getting all these questions out and stuff, and they were responding to him in such a positive way. So he makes friends pretty quickly right there with the ladies and stuff. And it takes a very realistic point of view, and it's not glamorized like it is in like old movies of the Old West. So I think I gave this one 4 stars. I can't remember. I'll have to double check before I put this video up. I thought it was good. It wasn't as entertaining to me as Wintershins was, the first book in the series, but it was still good. Oh, I forgot to mention, though, I was a little disappointed, because the reason why I read Eidolon first is I thought it might have some more references to this story, like kind of a setting up of this one. No, it doesn't. It's completely isolated. There are references back. They do talk about the Valentine he was given by Griffin in the short story, but that's about it. They don't really talk about anything else that happened, and the plot of Eidolon has nothing to do with the plot of Threshold, so I was a little let down by that. But, yeah, it was nice that Jordan Hawk cranked out another Whyborne and Griffin story, though, that happens between stories and is completely, isolated. So that was nice, but a little bit of a letdown, but, it's still a great story. So if you're interested in, the series is really great, and I think it's a pretty popular series too, and I understand why, because it has action, it has, this one got rather gory and kind of cringy and stuff at times in it, but and it has the romance, and there are some pretty spicy scenes in it too. And we still see Griffin struggling with nightmares about his past and not fully opening up about his past. So that creates even more tension. But anyway, so that's my review. Do check out the other reviews that I'll have down below, and do check out the Whyborne and Griffin series. And I will see you soon with another video. Have a happy Pride Month, and stay safe and stay spooky. Bye-bye.